She reached down to turn up the stereo and, to my delight, soon the car was filled with the sounds of My Chemical Romance. We sang along with Gerard at the top of our lungs the whole way there, and I suddenly realized I didn't have to worry about being cool. With someone like Black Raven, I could just be me. That was enough. Downtown consisted of one main street with cobblestone sidewalks and gas street lamps that were supposed to give the place a charming old-world look, reminiscent of colonial times. Most of the shops sold antiques or touristy odds and ends, nothing that would appeal to anyone under the age of 60. Luckily, at the far end of the street, a guy named Mel had taken over his grandma's old yarn store and turned it into a comic book shop. After chatting with Mel himself for a few moments, we started skimming through the racks, looking for new releases or rare finds, calling out to each other when we spotted something good. Blackie made me purchase the first volume of Chibi Vampire, and I convinced her to give something non-fang to try for once, introducing her to my beloved DramaCon series. The author of these, Svetlana Chmakova, is really amazing, I said, handing her volumes 1 and 2. And the coolest thing is, she's the VIP judge for that contest I told you about.
Oh, yeah.
Blackie nodded, remembering.
What's the deal with that, anyway?
Well, for the first round of judging, I go to Boston Public Library and present my book to a panel of judges.
In person? Yikes.
Yeah, I'm totally freaking out, I said. I mean, especially since Svetlana's gonna be there. What if she doesn't like my drawings or says they're totally amateur? She could be like, "Oh my god, girl, you need to give up drawing and take up accounting instead." Black Raven giggled.
Yeah, right,
she said.
I doubt they're allowed to say that. And besides, your drawings rock. I bet you'd win, hands down.
I crossed my fingers and held them up. She did the same.
Okay, I'm dying of thirst. Let's try these bad boys and grab a snack at the diner.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, isn't that Matt Drewer over there?
Blackie asked, pointing down the aisle at the Marvel section. I followed her finger. Sure enough, there was Matt, flipping through a bin of comics. Oh yeah, we should say hi, I said, heading down the aisle. After all, he was one of the few nice students in Hannah Dustin High. Hey Matt, I greeted.
Hey girls,
he said, looking happy to see us.
Guess we had the same idea, huh? What you buyin'?
Shoujo?
Blackie held up her selections.
Reddy's trying to cure me of my vampire addiction.
And Blackie's trying to get me addicted, I answered back, holding up Chibi Vampire.
Very nice,
he said, giving me a thumbs up.
I came here to find Full Metal Alchemist. I really dug what we read during the meeting.
He grinned.
You may turn me into a manga fan yet, Maddie.
I laughed appreciatively. Hey, we're gonna grab some food. Wanna come? Matt shrugged.
Sure, why not?
We paid for our books and headed across the street to the local diner. It was a 50s themed place with records on the wall and photos of Elvis everywhere. Each table had its own jukebox, but we quickly decided none of the old school selections were worth the quarter price tag. We ordered sodas, then pulled out our purchases and spread them out over the table.
You're really going to love Chibi Vampire,
Black Raven told me.
It's so good.
And you're gonna love... I trailed off, my eyes catching sight of Chad Murray, sitting in a booth at the far end of the restaurant, alone and reading, a cup of coffee sitting in front of him.
What?
Black Raven demanded, looking my direction.
One of the sheep has strayed from the herd. We should attack now, while it's alone and helpless.
Matt snorted.
Totally.
I swatted at them, straining to see what Chad was reading. Probably a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue or something. You guys are terrible.
For making fun of the haters, as you call them?
He scoffed.
Please. They so deserve that and more.
Maybe. Though maybe not Chad. He's okay, actually, when he's not around Billy. Blackie raised an eyebrow.
Are you smoking crack?
She asked.
He's got the inner circle.
I know, it's just, well, I think he may be different from the rest. I shrugged. It sounded lame when I said it out loud.
Oh, I get it,
Black Raven said with a knowing voice. She giggled and poked Matt. He snorted in return. I turned back to look at them, puzzled. Get what?
You like him.
Blackie's eyes danced in merriment. I felt my face go bright red. I do not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, Matt chimed in.
Maddie and Chatty sitting in a tree. Kiss.
Shh, I cried, putting hand over her mouth. We tussled for a bit, until the waitress came over with our sodas and told us we needed to settle down.
Sorry, Gladys.
Black Raven said.
Sorry, Gladys.
Black Raven said, immediately in polite mode. You always are, Blackie, Gladys said, shaking her head. She was heavy-set and in her 50s, with purple eyeshadow dust on her eyelids. And yet, every time you come here, you manage to annoy me all over again.
That's why you love me so much.
Gladys snorted. I could think of another word.
I'm sure you could. You're a regular thesaurus. But seriously, Gladys, can you do me a huge favor? Like, the hugest favor in the entire universe?
And what, pray tell, would that favor entail? Blackie grinned.
Would you ask that gentleman at the far table if he would care to join us?
What? I cried, horrified. No! Of course my new friend ignored me, fluttering her fake eyelashes at our waitress instead. Gladys rolled her eyes. The things I do for you kids, she muttered. She left our table and headed over to Chad's. I watched as the two of them started to converse. Oh my god, I can't believe you just did that! I whispered, looking back at my friends. What if he comes over? Black Raven rolled her eyes.
Then you talk to him, dummy. That's kind of the point.
But he's one of them.
You just told me he was different. So let's find out if you're right.
He won't come. He's totally not gonna come. I clamped my mouth shut as I watched Chad stand up and shove his belongings in his bag. Was he really going to?
See, here he is.
Black Raven pronounced triumphantly. I didn't know whether I wanted to kill her or hug her.